Sure. I got you back on. So, so you were saying, we were talking about this standard. You were judging people according to your own standard of belief, or your standard
Correct.
of truth.
Correct. Because the other part of it is that they'll even tell you that, you know what I'm saying, you're not enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because you're not enough, I can even sell you a package and a program, man, so that you can be more.
Wow.
According to what I think you are. You know what I mean? Those are some of the greats, man, like Tony Robbins, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'll you know, the whole I'll sell you a dream. You know, because, I mean, why not?
I can sell you. Sell you the dream to be like Mike.
Exactly. And most people, thank you, my friend. And most people, they're going to accept that dream, right? Because they're not happy with themselves. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I'm not happy with me, so let me go pay to be like you. Hey, thank you, man. Have a good one. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not happy with me, so I'm going to go pay to be like you because, look. And let me show you something. Reggie told me something years ago.
Reggie is who?
So Reggie is one of my mentors, okay? He's a young guy in his 30s. You know, his net worth is quite a bit. He's probably about 200. And we talking 200 M, right?
200 million.
Yeah. Yeah, real talk. Young brother, okay? This brother told me one thing. He said, Kurt, he said, I've always been smart, and I've always had knowledge. He said, but people didn't respect it, and nobody cared. He said, people didn't care until I started to pull up. When I pulled up in a $140 $500,000 car, then I had value. He said, now I'm still the same me. I got the same knowledge. He said, I just pulled up in something different because everybody wants to be what they see.
Mm-hmm.
So the value, he said, is never in me. It's in what you can produce that people can see that they attach their value to. It's in what they see that they attach their value to. Wow.
Wow.
So that always stuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going, wow. Like, I get it. See, I could tell you all day long about F. If you do this, man, you can become a millionaire. You can make lots of money, and you can have a nice house, this, that, and the other. But if I pull up on you, and I'm in a 2002, you know, Mercedes Benz, you like, what? Huh? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but huh? You feel me? Because you haven't what? You haven't produced. And the product of success is producing those nice things according to a social value.
Wow.
So it's like an athlete. Athlete will tell you all day long he good at this and good at that. But until he gets on the field and does what? Produce. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm good in bed. Right, I'm good in bed, and you talking that smack to her. You get in bed in 2 minutes. And she laughing at you. You didn't produce. You did not produce. That is not a truth. So, like I said, it only matters to you. Now, we can say that, yeah, people's thoughts and this, that, and the other, if it has no scientific evidence and this, that, and the other, then it don't have no value. Yeah, I mean, that may matter to me, but to that other person, that shit don't matter. And if I'm trying to establish whatever relationship which is normally of gain, then somewhat meet at a median value.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it all day long with your wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wives are the interesting ones because, look, they believe one thing, we believe another thing because we come from two different experiences, two different backgrounds, this, that, and the other, and we're blending to do this thing called relationship and family, right? And so some of the times when, is she going, you going to honk at me, slow down. She going to fly around, hold on, see me pulling out, going to fly around the corner and then honk at me.
You sound like me. I've done the finger.
Oh, man, because they know that's rude. Common courtesy. That you see somebody pulling out, you're not going to just fly around the corner. You're going to stop. Let them out. Be courteous.
Hey, you can't judge her according to courtesy standards of courtesy. No, I cannot. But guess what? I can give you back a response based on Curtis's belief system, just like you gave me one of yours. You thought it was okay. I totally disagree. Man, this is
so at that point, look, we can be at a stalemate on it, but you're gonna hear my mouth and hear me tell you, bitch, you insensitive right now. I don't really care if you agree. I believe what I believe, and it matters to me. Go fuck off.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Mikey, your waiter/waitress for the morning. Are you done looking at the menu? You got it? You know what you want?
Let me get the pancake special.
Okay, so you want the cake?
The pancakes.
The pancakes. And do you want them fruity? You know, like with a strawberry topping, blueberry
regular
pancakes.
Regular
pancakes? Okay, regular pancakes. And what kind of meat you want?
Excuse me?
It comes with your choice of meat.
Sausage.
Sausage, great choice.
Bacon.
Okay, bacon. We could get bacon. We could change that. So do you want grits or hash brown?
Give me grits with cheese.
Grits with cheese. Oh, you like it cheesy. Okay. That's how I like mine too. So I forgot to ask, you want butter on your cakes? Huh?
Cereal.
What? Cereal?
I'm going home and eat some cereal.
All right, bye-bye.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
So question, what you just said, the question is, when you come to these conflicts of standards of truth, my conflicts with yours, and now we at a standstill, how do you determine who's right?
Oh, but see, that's my thing. I don't really give a shit about who's right or who's wrong. I could be wrong right now, and I may figure it out 5 years from now. But in that moment, I'm going to speak my piece and move on. I'm not looking. I don't need anybody to validate me for right or wrong. Shit, I can't even really validate myself. I'm just telling you how I feel.
What if you don't have that option? See, that's the problem, because that's non-consequential knowledge. Whenever you have the option to pull out and say, I don't want to play no more, after you've been a part of some sort of conflict of who's good is right, and then you just say, hey, I don't want to play no more, that's non-consequential knowledge. Now you have to come up with an answer. What happens when you're in conflict with someone's standard of truth, and then you have to come up with a decision?
Here's the thing. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, you don't. Because let me tell you this. I learned a long time ago in my little classes that I had to take, right?
Uh-huh.
They talked about this one thing, and you hear me mention the word when I say belief window.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a window that they look out of for belief. What they believe. Okay? Everybody got a window. Now, just because you look out your window, you see something totally different than what I see. I'm not telling you that you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? You could be right. I don't know. But according to where I'm at today, when I look out that window, I see something different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can express that to you, but I don't have to be in conflict with you, because conflict is a state of mind. I can give respect to what you think and how you feel, because remember, back to what we said earlier, if I'm trying to get a desired thing from you, I can't go in resistance to you. I can only try to understand you. So why do you think that way? Why are you in conflict? So even with this woman, she felt it was appropriate. I would ask her, so what made you think that that was okay? How does it, and let's talk about it, because I need to understand.
So, because we're going to back up a little bit, because this is a pretty good example of how conflict arises. When your ideas, meaning your beliefs, that assent of mind to whatever proposed truth that you have or that you concocted in your own mind, when it's manifested into physical action. So from the thought into the manifestation, the composition into some sort of physical form, that action, whatever that thing is in conflict with you. That means it's negatively impacting you and your physical state. Who determines if that's wrong or not?
I do.
You do, the one that's being impacted, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how do you solve that issue if that person has based their actions according to their absolute truth? It ain't no belief in their mind. They've converted that belief into a absolute standard of truth that is the standard that everyone should be judged against. You're not going to just talk them out of that. That's already embedded in the culture. So how do you deal with that if you're the one that's being negatively impacted physically?
If I'm negatively impacted by it, then I don't have to deal with it. There's a choice there.
What do you do?
I can walk away. I don't have to accept it.
I ain't letting you walk away. You ain't walking away. You're not walking away.
But you don't control me.
I do physically control you because my belief says that you are under my subjectivity. You're subject to me and my beliefs because that's what it says. I'm judging you not just physically.
Oh, so you're talking about in the case of law enforcement.
That's the next step to enforcing your belief. The only way your belief can be absolute truth onto others, if it is negatively impacting them or not, is by me enforcing it onto you by military physical might. And I don't mean a whole bunch of tanks. I'm talking about whatever. I grab you and I say, no, you will obey what I just said and what I'm doing, or else I'm going to continue to physically assault you. What are you going to do, Curtis? It ain't no talking that's going to come into that. We ain't talking no more. I'm physically acting. Ain't no beliefs no more. We talking about me touching you and your person. What are you going to do? I ain't letting you walk away. What did I do? Because I'm sure we've all been in this situation. What do you do?
No, what did I do? When that happened?
Yeah.
When that happened, what did I do? Because, see, now you're talking about something different. See,
no, it's not different. It's
no, it is different. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Because there's a difference between a basic belief system, right, versus self-preservation. Because at the end of the day, self-preservation is the first law of nature, to preserve yourself. Now, if there's conflict that threatens my life, right, then at that point, no, in that point of authority, no, I'm not going to let your belief system take my life. I'm going to let you.
They're not trying to take your life, though.
What do you mean? I don't know that. I don't know that.
Exactly. But you don't know any of it. So what do you?
No.
The question is.
So in the instance, hold on. In that instance, right, when they had their guns on me, right,
I'm grabbing you, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever they doing to me, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't say nothing because I know according to their law, I have one right. And what's my right?
The right of to remain solid.
Bingo.
Well, we still ain't that point because you don't know what their law is. We're talking about in general. We're talking about a situation where, in our imaginary hypothetical situation right now, you don't know that.
No, you said no. You said first off, let's go, because we built up to this. Your first point was that we're talking about a belief system and a conflict that derives out of that belief system. Right?
Exactly, but you don't know my belief system. Remember that.
You're not a citizen. If I don't know it, how can I be conflict with it? I can't be in conflict with something I don't know.
And no, you can be in conflict with something you don't. What are you talking about right now? If you go to another country and you disobey one of the customs or one of the laws that you're not aware of, that you don't know, you're arrested based off of what you don't know, regardless.
Oh, but it also. But wait a minute. That's true. But wait a minute. Is that their fault? Hold on. Is that their fault or is it that yours?
This is an ABC color presentation.
Why don't you believe in God?
Well, first of all, what I believe is none of your fucking business. Secondly, according to the book that you used to define God for yourself, roughly anyway, or allegedly would be a better word, you only get to define God for yourself. That's what it says in there. You don't get to define it for anyone but yourself. So what you're really asking is, why don't you believe in God in exactly the same way, the same dogmatic way that I do? And it's a disingenuous question. Why don't you believe in Odin? Why don't you accept Muhammad as your prophet? Why do you not worship Baal? Fuck if I know. Fuck if I care. That'd be your fucking business. Just to be honest, Abrahamic religion, God, ugh. I've got no problem with hippie-ass Jesus. OT God is real cringy, real sus. Sell all your possessions and give the proceeds to the poor, then holler back.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
It ain't about fault. It's your fault because you broke the law. According to their whatever custom, their absolute truth standard of rules for that particular place, for that people, whatever you did disobeyed them, and the consequences to it. It ain't about what you think, because you're still thinking what Curtis's interpretation of the situation is. We ain't talking about you because we're not judging according to what Curtis thinks. We don't care what Curtis thinks unless Curtis can enforce what Curtis thinks onto them. That's the problem. That's the catch.
No.
You have to, whatever you think doesn't matter.
Let me show you.
Okay.
Because it goes like think, right? And this is knowledge of the conflict or the situation, right? Now, if I don't have knowledge with something, I'm always leaving myself open, right, to violate that one thing, which is self-preservation, that first law. So if you didn't have the knowledge to drive a car, but you got in the car and drove it and you wrecked, is that the light pole's fault, or is that your fault? Right? That's your fault because you didn't have the knowledge to drive it. So in turn, if I'm dealing with anything, I need to have the knowledge of it. If I don't, then, no. But wait a minute. That's not the other party's fault. That's your fault. Yours.
Okay, so go backwards because you're moving too fast. We still at the basic fundamental part of what we started with in this conversation. Your idea, your standard, your whatever absolute truth of belief, the ideals that you hold yourself and others to is what we're talking about. You're not going to know that, Curtis, because you don't know what it is. I have that. You have that. We're different. We ain't talking about right now. We're talking about in general humanity. That means that you don't know what I think. You don't know what everybody thinks because everybody has a different perception or perspective of life. So you can't know everything. So just because I offend you, I offended you, you and your standards, whatever that thing is, I don't know what your level of self-preservation is. That's going to be different for everyone. That means that if you get offended or you're fearful for whatever circumstance that you're under, I don't know what that line is, where you're going to pull that gun or pull that knife or feel like you're threatening enough where you're going to have to lay hands on somebody. I don't know what that is. I don't know what triggers you. There's no way you can know that. That's what we're talking about here. When that happens, it's no longer to a point of what you're interpreting because you don't know what it is. You said something.
But there's no generalized answer to that. You can't generalize the answer to something that is experience specific.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the point. You can't judge it. Because you're still. That's what you're saying. What you're saying is you can't provide a source of knowledge to something that you don't know about. Because it ain't generalized. It's subjective.
So what? Okay, so watch this. I'm gonna double back. So if you can't provide a source of knowledge, then what do? No action.
I don't know.
You don't apply any action at all, because even no action is still action.
How is that?
Because you had no action. So you have to, because I said it earlier. There's always a choice there.
Go back. No. You just said, no, stop. No, because you said something that you're going to have to clarify, because we ain't going to get past. You said that inaction is an action.
In itself, right.
How?
Because you're making.
I know where you're going. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you mean.
Yeah, because you're making a choice not to do anything.
So by someone not performing a physical action, how is it going to be interpreted from someone else that you didn't do anything?
Because look at the word. The word, either way you go, is action. And there's either a doing or a not doing of action. Right?
With the action, what is, I guess, the inaction, who determines what that means if that's nothing that's done?
That means that right there, it's nothing that's done.
But who interprets nothing?
Action. What does it mean? No. Go back to the word. Action is a verb. It's a verb, right?
Action is not a verb. Action represents a verb. Action is a word, noun. Action is a word that means cause or ground for a lawsuit. That's the earliest definition of it. It's an action. It's a legal word. Lawsuit, case, conduct, official, legal action. It's not a verb. It's a word that represents grounds for a lawsuit.
No. Okay, let's dive a little bit deeper. You're reading me a definition, but according to grammatical, the way grammar is dictated, there are certain verbs that are standing verbs, and then there are action verbs, right? And you have action verbs, you have linking verbs. There's different types.
Stop, bro. I'm gonna stop you right now. So
what do you mean?
Let me get your emotions together, because I don't know if this touching on something. Because
I'm right with you.
No, you're not. No, because a word. Let me explain to you what a word is. A word is, it can be a utterance. It could be a hand sign. It can be some sort of gesture. Who said? What are you talking about? That's what the word means.
Who said?
What are you talking about? Humans said that.
I don't believe that.
Created, you don't have to, because we're not talking about your beliefs. We're talking about a tool. We're talking about an instrument. So you still
but I don't have to accept that if I don't believe it.
No, you do have to accept it, because
you can't force. How you gonna force me to accept that?
Control yourself. You control yourself.
I am.
Okay.
But I don't have to accept it.
You don't know. You have to accept it, because you're using it. And the reason why, let me finish before you lose your tissy fit again, because I can tell this touching on something. This is when I know I'm touching home, because you're no longer rational. Now you're going out of a belief. You're trying to use your belief to determine something that you're utilizing in the physical world. Me and you are talking right now based off of our interpretation of words in a particular language system. That means that you're using what I'm saying, and your brain is decoding it right now. You can't stop that. Everything I'm saying right now, your brain is decoding it. Now I'm proving that to you, because you understand what I'm saying to you. Tell me that you don't understand what I'm saying. Make yourself stop. Make yourself not understand what I'm saying. I just made a statement. Now tell your brain to shut off and not understand what I'm saying. I'll wait. I just said I'll wait. You understand what I'll wait means. Everything I'm saying to you, everything that you're saying to me is encoded in our brain. Our brain is using this. That's the operating system that we use to communicate, and you can't shut it off. So words are a language system. They're a tool, just like a computer system. That's what we're using right now. This is real, brother. This ain't no belief. If it was a belief, then you'd be able to tell yourself not to believe what I'm saying. But you can't do that, because you understand what I'm saying. Do you understand that, man? This is not some sort of turn out, turn on type of thing. That's what belief is. Belief means an assent of mind to the proposed idea. A proposed idea. from a person, place, about a person, place, or thing. That's what I did. That's what a belief is. That means that you can choose to accept that or not accept that. We're not talking about word usage in general. You're trying to talk about the production of words. We're not talking about the production of words. Production of words comes from a composition that manifests from what we're saying. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual tool, the actual instrument, the recording system that represents our ideas is called a word system, a language. Do you understand that, man? That's what I'm telling you. This is what I'm explaining to you so you can understand the difference. You can believe, though you can disbelieve or not accept the manifestation of what I'm saying, meaning the interpretation of the words that are coming out of my mouth. You can say, I disagree with you, E. What your words mean to me, I don't accept the meaning of what your words are. But guess what you cannot do? You cannot not believe the words. That means the actual sounds and utterances coming out of my mouth, because your brain is going to decode it. So I'm not asking you to believe the words that are coming out of my mouth.
No, I get you.
It's two different things. You understand? It's a hard concept to think about, because we don't think about that.
No, I do. I get you. But
okay.
And my point in doing that was to show you that just because you can say something, right? And this goes back to anybody. You can say whatever you want to say to me, but there's still a choice in whether I choose to accept that or throw it out.
The meaning. No, you have a choice. No, it's two different things. This is still where we at. You can't set. I'm telling you right now that everything I'm telling you now is something that you are not going to comprehend because you're not an engineer. This is part of communication engineering. I'm talking about the engineering system. You're talking about the game system. You're talking about how to play the game. I'm telling you about the game and the console. We're two different things. You're telling me how to play the game. I'm telling you about the game, how it's made, and I'm telling you about the console. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation games. Gotcha. Go ahead.
So my thing is this. Yeah, you telling me about a game and you telling me about a console, but if I don't know nothing about that, why do I have to accept that as true?
You don't. That's the catch. You don't have to accept it as true. I can prove to you that you're using it. That's what we're talking about now. You're saying what you're trying to tell me is that you don't believe what I'm telling you, because you're trying to use the meaning of what I'm saying to discredit what you're doing. That doesn't work like that.
What do you mean?
It doesn't work like that, because you're using the very same meaning.
But if I just did it,
you did not do it because you're still using words. No, you're still using words. The only way you can change that is no longer use words. That means we have to change to another operating system, and then you have to use that. Can you do it? You let me know. Because there's only one way that this works, and this is where me and you disagree. This is why this is the premise of your disagreement with me, because you have a belief inside of words. You believe that words and thoughts can impact people's actions, physical actions, physical things. No, they do not impact people, the actual physical things. They impact your thinking. It's a totally different thing. The way I think is not an action. You just at the beginning or the middle of our conversation, you gave the example that your thoughts don't do anything. No, confirm. I'm asking you to confirm with me. Wait a second. I'm going to address that, but I need you to confirm something. I can't understand. Okay, fine. Go ahead because I wanted you to confirm something that I just said before I ask you your question.
Well, you said thought is not an action.
No, a thought is not an action.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Well, then you got it, but unless you can prove that it is, I'd love to see it. Can you prove to me that a thought is an action? Because you just stated, which is why I said, before you give me your question, confirm to me about what you stated before.
No, I'm stated before. No. You're right on every point.
Okay. I wanted to make sure because you had said it earlier.
No. I'm on 7.
Okay, because I'm only repeating back what we confirmed at the beginning. No. Said that a thought. Let me finish. No, I will. I will because I want to. So you said in the middle of the conversation, you said that thoughts without action don't mean anything because you judge people based off of what, Efrem? That's what you said. Efrem, what? I said action. Exactly. So you can't go back on that one because you pretty much put that out there. You ain't. I'm not accepting that. Because I'm not going to accept that.
But I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's what you just said.
I'm accepting your belief system. And
we're not on a belief system yet. I haven't told you what I believe. I'm telling you what me and you are utilizing to communicate.
But that's what you believe.
No, that's not what I believe. What's the difference between what we believe and what we know?
You think that to be true?
I'm asking you, what's the difference between what we believe and what we know?
What we believe and what we know. I don't know what you experience. What you experience.
You just stated. You know. So which one is it? I'm asking you because if you all of a sudden,
it's both.
So I'm asking you because if Curtis does not understand the words that he is using, or you're choosing not to understand the words that we're speaking now, because all of a sudden in the conversations prior, when we have our conversations, you're very, very knowledgeable and you're descriptive and explanative, and you explain things in detail. But all of a sudden, when we start going into this format, you act like you don't know, or you confused, or you questioning. I don't know which one it is because we don't talk like this. The only way people start talking like this is when somebody is offended. I'm still the same person. I ain't changed nothing. I'm inquisitive. I'm digging in. I'm still using some sort of system of reference. But somewhere down the line, you know in your heart, and you can lie if you want to, this touching you. And I want to know why it's touching you and what your belief system is on this.
Okay, so watch this. All right, so what we're talking about, I'm doing this for a reason, right? Because the original thing that you and I talked about was conflict, right? And the question is, how do you basically handle conflict when it comes to you when your belief system is different? And I told you my answer, and I'm just proving my answer right now.
But you're not proving your answer because there's no physical consequences.
Let me finish. Okay. It doesn't have to be, not every, okay, so watch this. We can say that there's no physical consequence. If that's what you want to believe.
No, but you thought about it. We go circle back to this, but go ahead, because that's what I'm confused about.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I want you to hear this.
Okay.
So we talked about earlier, how do you handle conflict, right? When it comes from not agreeing and technically your belief system, right? And I said, I've got a choice. You said, no, you don't have a choice. I'm like, no, I do got a choice. I'm never without a choice when something is presented to me, right? So I said, for the sake of self-preservation, even what you're bringing to me right now, I can continue to disagree, or my choice is I can agree with you.
No,
right?
That's where we're going to fall. So what we said, when I brought this to you, can remember I'm the one who brought it up because I wanted to see what you thought. So you said, you gave me the example when you were on the situation with the parking lot, when the lady had did whatever traffic issue that pissed you off, and that's what started that conversation, the dialogue on that.
Right.
But that was a physical action that I referenced. I said a physical action that negatively impacts you. Key word, that's why I keep telling you, physical action. That means something sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Something that you actually are experiencing physically that's negatively impacting you. In your mind, this is this thing. Whatever this physical action's doing, whether it's touching you, grabbing you, pushing you, dealing with something that you own, your property, whatever it is, it's a physical action that someone has just done or is doing that is negatively impacting you emotionally. Make you feel bad. Don't feel good. I don't like it at all. So you said you could not do anything. I said, yeah, but I'm giving you the example of we're putting it in a situation, hypothetical situation, Disney World, imagination, where there is a physical action and they not letting you walk away, meaning that they doing something to you and your person and saying, hey, no, you're not walking away, you're going to have to address this right now. It's going to be more physical consequences. Now, you said, I have a choice. I said, yeah, you have. I know. I didn't say you didn't have a choice in your mind, because that's in your mind, yeah, you do. But you still have to make a decision physically. What are you going to do physically? Are you going to keep letting them do something to you that you don't like? Are you going to do something about it physically? You're going to have to, that's what I said, Curtis is going to have to enforce what Curtis thinks, one way or the other. If you don't do nothing, they're going to keep picking on you. Or if you do something, you might still get your ass whooped. I don't know, because we don't know the consequence going to be. Well, what are you going to, that's what I'm saying, you're going to make it, you're going to have to do perform
hold on. Stop right here. So let's use the example of Martin Luther King. In the civil rights movement, in that aspect, it was a nonviolent movement.
Yep, that was a nonviolent movement, and that's not what you mean, because that phrase nonviolent is not what you're trying to make it out to be. Nonviolent is more meat on that bone. We both understand that.
But they didn't fight back, did they?
They did fight back. No, they did fight back. Yeah, they did fight back physically.
How so?
You mentioned it earlier. You said by not doing anything physically, meaning responding back, fighting back in the same manner that they were being attacked, is not the same as not doing anything. They did do something physically. It just wasn't in the same means that was used to attack them.
I agree.
But you agree, but that's me saying it. You didn't say that before. I said there's more meat on the bone. That's why I'm saying we got to clarify what that means.
So go back. So follow me with this. So when going back to the question that you asked, right? And you basically stated to me that, hey, wait a minute, if they're doing something to you physically, right? And I said, shit, even no action is action. Right? And you just clarify that and go, well, no, they did not do anything, which was technically they did something. They just didn't do it at the extent of how it was done to them.
Yeah, well, right? It wasn't the same means. They still did it. It's just that they didn't fight. Right. They didn't say that they pull our guns and we don't pull our guns, but we use another means to try to attack them. It's still doing something. What I asked you in detail, I said, what do you mean doing nothing? We're trying to clarify what you meant by not doing nothing. What does that mean, not doing anything? Because that's what I was curious. That's why I said I want to dig. Because you kept saying, but see, I don't know if you backpedaling now. I'm just saying because I can't tell. Because right now, previously you were not standing on that. You were standing on some sort of abstract thought and belief that you can control from what I perceive. This is my interpretation of what you were saying in general. In the mind has the power to do this. So I'm trying to dig to make sure.
No.
What you're
I'm saying is, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in your mind you have a choice on how you choose to react. You can be reactive or you can be creative. How do you choose to deal with it for the desired outcome of self-preservation? That's the bottom line. And that was my whole pretense from the very beginning, is that there's always a choice there, and how you choose to deal with the circumstances when conflict arises, right? Now, we took it from a general level of conflict to an extreme level of conflict, but either way, the same precipice lies is that there's a choice there, and the choice comes in with the median of which you choose to respond.
So your choice, so just to go back, so choice. You saying a choice? What do you mean a choice? Because you keep utilizing that word.
Wait. I'm gonna use your word. You said decision.
Where's the option? It's just the words that I'm using. They're all meaning option.
No. Which ones do you? What option?
They're synonymous.
Do you come up with?
No, the reason why I'm asking you, they're all synonymous.
Correct.
Remember, you're somewhere in what you're saying is a belief system. I know that because that's what we talked about before. This isn't the first time we discussed that. But on mine, there is no belief system on mine. I'm digging into your game software, the game narrative.
Stop.
I'm not talking about the actual.
No. Stop right there.
I'm talking about the system itself.
But if if we can define that not acting is taking action, then can we not define that not having a belief system is having a belief system?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Nothing makes sense. Life makes no sense. You're on a planet right now. You think you're in America? Zoom out. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness, and the infinite nothingness is expanding. That means endlessness is getting bigger. That makes no sense. We all just act like it's normal. Like, oh, everything's made of molecules. Okay. Got it. I'll never think about that again. I'm made of molecules, you're made of molecules, the air between us, it's all made of molecules. That makes no sense. These molecules know they're molecules. These molecules are like, oh, I'm Pete. That doesn't make any sense.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
What do you? Okay, so go back. So we're gonna go back to the action, non-action first. Now we're gonna talk about both of them again. See, make sure you understand when you think you're stabbing, it ain't gonna stab me because I'm standing on neither one or the other because I'm not talking about. I don't mind discussing narratives because I don't stand on any of it. I'm learning and enjoying the conversation and then take it in and put it on the shelf or whatever it's going to be. I'm enjoying it. I was thinking same as you, but at the same time, you have a dog in this fight. I don't. There's no dog in this fight whatsoever.
No.
Not even close. So I'm asking questions.
No. No, wait a minute. It goes back to what I said earlier, right? And I'm going to come back to it. It only matters to me. So I can give you my thoughts all day long. I can tell you what I think. I can tell you my perception, my choices, my decisions, whatever words I can use to get you to maybe understand
what you're thinking.
Understand what I'm thinking or how I visualize it. But at the end of the day, there's I don't have no skin in the game. So it doesn't matter to me.
Well, you do. You just said you do have skin in the game because it's based off of what you're thinking. It's yours.
No, it's not. Okay, so look.
You just said it was.
No.
What are you talking about? Did you just say that?
Slow up. I can give you all day long. Once again, what I think.
But you said yes.
I don't have an expectation for you to believe it. Meaning, I don't have no skin in the game with it. Like, I can tell you, if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. I'm not here to force anything upon you.
But that's not.
I'm just here
let's
to
make sure. Let me go. So standing on that, the reason why you don't have any skin in the game is not by choice. It's by the circumstance. You don't have a choice because you don't have. That's because that's the way it is. Because you can't invade my mind. That's what I just said. Your thoughts, everything that you can't. It doesn't matter if you wanted to or not. It ain't about you trying. That's the circumstance that we all are under.
Yeah, but that doesn't exist for me because I don't have a desire to even think whether I can.
But it doesn't matter how you feel about it. That's just the way it is.
Okay.
So that's the point. So you can take credit. You can take credit for that by saying I'm doing this because I don't choose to do this. No, it's not about a choice because it goes back to you a choice. Curtis is going to do what Curtis wants to do regardless of anything because Curtis is confined to Curtis' desire. That's what Curtis want to do. It don't matter how this ends up. Curtis is going to get whatever he wants, even when Curtis believes that he's not getting what he wants. Curtis still gets what he wants. Efrem is going to do the same thing because it's what you mentioned before. We're confined to self-preservation. It's not by choice that you have self-preservation. It's by circumstance, brothers. That's it. It ain't nothing else. You're going to get what you want, regardless of what you decide to do. Hey, Efrem, the reason why I don't have a skin in the game is because I choose not to have it's because you don't have one. So you can put choice on top of that if you want to, if it makes you feel good about it. But in the end, it's still the same circumstance that we
exactly. But that's my point.
That's called a belief. A belief is a painting on top of a circumstance that can't be changed. It's absolute. So how you paint that on top is your belief system. That's your ideas that you're attributing to some circumstance that you can't control.
But that goes
to
with
make
anything.
yourself feel good.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Wait. Can you control breathing?
Nope.
All right. So that's an absolute truth, right?
Yeah.
Now
Absolutely.
you can put things in place to stop your breathing if you chose to.
Yeah.
But either way, the
you
breath
have
is
to.
still the breath.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So henceforth, people do this with everything. This is an illusion.
Exactly. It is an illusion.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
you've been taught all these different things to place parameters around your reality, even the topics and conversations that we're discussing, right? Because even in there, we were taught what absolute means, or what the words mean, or how the words should come together so that we can gain an understanding and communicate, right? That was even a learned behavior within the level to hopefully give you this quote-unquote reality. You know what I mean? And so what I love about the human mind is it will batter and give examples and justifications all day long to accentuate its reality, right, based on what your senses are bouncing with. What do you hear? What do you speak? What do you smell? But at the end of the day, all of it's still made up to give you something that we can communicate and share about. You know what I'm saying? It's a moot point. You know, but this is the human part of it, where we battle with our perception of what we believe is true. Right? And then if somebody, like you said, if somebody comes into conflict with that, then I got an attitude or I'm upset. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what we agree. But see, that's the catch. You notice that we are in alignment on that. That's fine as far as on that, because that's obvious. Again, we're talking about the actual tools, the instruments that we're using to express our thoughts. Those are instruments. Words are instruments. That's something that we created. Our system, this system that we have, an organized language, is a system that we all have learned to express ourselves. It's a system. It's real. We're using that system now. It ain't about whether you agree or not. You're using it. You just said I agree because we understand what the sound agree means. We know the meaning behind that because we've attributed a meaning, an idea to that sound that our brain is going to automatically bring back when we say it. Agree. You already know what that means. Good. You know what that. You know all of these different things. So we understand that part. The problem comes in when you try to use the meaning of words to manifest something tangible. When it ain't.
Okay,
you're using things.
Hold on.
That means physical. That means something tangible, physical material that you experience, sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Something that you experience through the senses, and that's not what it's for. It can't do it. It's impossible because it's an instrument that we created. We created the words. We created the meaning. What they represent is something totally different. What the words represent is something typically going to what words represent can be physical or immaterial. But you're still using words to represent them.
So right there, let's stop. Right there, what you described to me is your belief.
It's not a belief. We're not talking about belief. We're talking about something. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of this because you still talking about belief. I don't do no belief, boy. Why don't you get that through your head? I'm trying to tell you what belief means. Belief means an assent of mind to an idea. That is a choice. That means if you propose a choice to me, Curtis, or propose an idea to me using words, I can choose to accept that as true or not because it's not real. It's nothing tangible. That's the point of a belief. You have a belief because you do not know. When you know something, that means you're interacting now. I'm driving. I'm touching the car. Me and you are talking. I'm talking to Curtis. You're responding to me. This is a knowing. We are knowing each other. But the moment I start telling you what I'm experiencing, it's based off of you believing me. But I'm not telling you about something that I believe. But you have to believe me because you're not experiencing what I'm experiencing.
Hold on. Stop right
now. But I ain't got my example. I'm out here looking outside right now.
Right.
It's cold as hell out here, man. It's wintertime. It's cold. People got jackets on. Wind's blowing. The snow's coming down, man. It's crazy out here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you know what that is? My words are telling you what it is, and your brain is decoding these words to manifest a understanding of what I'm saying. But you don't know if it's true or not because you're not here. You're not experiencing what I'm experiencing. You have to accept my words or choose not to accept them. It's up to you. That's what belief is. But in order to determine to measure my word, let me finish because it all just means something. Everything I just gave you was the example of what we're talking about. That means that the only way you can validate what I'm saying, meaning the words that I'm using, the system, the instrument, the tool of words, language communication that I'm using in order to scientifically validate what I'm saying, they have to be measured against something that is real and material, something tangible. They have to represent that. You need that in order to measure my word. Once you do that, you'll come to find that what I'm saying is not true. But if you don't have the material thing to measure my words against, then you'll never be able to determine what my words are saying is true or not, true or false, or how accurate they are. But go ahead. That's what I want to tell you.
I got you. So one thing, as you talk to me, that keeps coming up in my head is intention. Okay? That's the one word that comes up, because in order for there to be that, there has to be an intention. Let me explain. So in using the example that you told me, you can tell me it's cold, it's this, it's that, it's this, that, and the other, right? Now, do I set an intention behind believing you or disbelieving you? No. My intention may not even be either one. My intention may just be to what? Understand what you're communicating. So as you're talking, like you said, I'm going to go into my Rolodex of beliefs and what? Experiences. And I'm going to go and I may go, so Efrem, how cold is it? And you go, dog, 35 degrees. And because I've experienced 35 degrees, I understand, right? If you tell me, man, we got on winter jackets. Have I put on a winter jacket before? Yep, I get it. I understand. Right? So as you're describing these things to me, I'm matching these against my experiences with the words that you're giving me to get a greater understanding. Now, if I come to you and I go, ¿qué pasó, amigo? Hijo la chingada. Pinche del puto. And I keep going on with it. Now, I'm telling you something, but you don't understand. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have meaning or there's not an intention behind it, right? You just don't get it. You don't understand.
I don't understand the meaning. Exactly.
Right. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just, you know what I'm saying? Because it exists. I'm speaking it to you. It just means that you just don't understand it. So the absolute is there, right? Do you have an intention? But wait. You may not even have an intention to understand. You may not even care. Henceforth, it goes both ways.
But there's something to say outside of what you stated. You said if I explained that to you, and just like I gave the analogy, or rather, giving you, if I gave you the analogy of, the wintertime experience that I was experiencing out here right now, and you have nothing to validate my words again, you said something. You said my intention. You don't have control over that, Curtis. Your brain controls that.
I'm not trying.
You don't. I'm talking about my intention is the one that's going to populate in your head. Automatically, that emotion.
Your intention is to tell me about it.
My intention is telling you something, but the intention meaning the reasoning behind why I'm telling you that is something inside of me. But you don't know that. But your brain is going to manifest what you think the reasoning is, the emotions behind it, all of that complexities of your brain processing what is being transmitted to you using words. You don't have control over that. Your brain's going to come up with whatever the brain comes up with, and whatever the emotions come from that, your brain's going to come up with it. I mean, I can give you an example of what could happen, but that's not necessarily what's going to happen when I say this to you. As I'm speaking to you right now, your brain is translating, decoding what I'm saying, and it's manifesting some sort of ideas and it's transmitting. I mean, also evoking some sort of emotion or non-emotion to what I'm saying. One of the others, it's happening. You can't stop that because that's part of being alive and it's part of thinking.
Okay, I'm not disputing that.
I know because I ain't saying nothing that's disputable. I ain't saying nothing that's disputable yet because I'm not talking about no beliefs. I'm talking about the instrument of knowledge. That's what I'm talking about. When we start talking about beliefs, I'll let you know, hey, brother, this is what I believe. That means that something that I have not experienced directly that I agree to accept as being true. Then I'll tell you that. Or not.
But if it's,
I ain't got to tell you either.
But if it's an illusion, then that means that none of what you just said is true.
What's an illusion?
We just categorize it. This reality you live in is an illusion.
No,
right?
I have not. We have not categorized an illusion. We're talking about the illusions of words and our thoughts.
But that doesn't create your reality?
What do you mean? Let me make sure I understand what you're saying before I start.
No, I'm asking, does that create your reality?
What does it create my reality?
Your what?
I said, what doesn't create my reality? What are you talking about?
So you made a statement there.
And I'm asking you to clarify your response. You said something does not clarify my reality. I'm asking you, what are you saying does not clarify my reality?
So if you're saying to me, everything we're talking about, right? Have the mind and this, that, and it's absolute, this, that, and the other, right? And you're telling me that technically that's true. Okay, but I'm saying, how do we know?
What do you mean?
Because my thing is this. If we can identify that you've been given these things, correct?
Given these things, what do you mean?
You've been given the knowledge, like you said, to communicate.
Yeah, we've been taught. The knowledge given, I don't know, because that word, like you said, I'm trying to figure out what that means, because I wouldn't necessarily use that word to describe how we use language. We learn language.
I love it. This is what I love about it. Let me tell you why. Okay. Because see, at the end of the day, and this is what I love about human beings, and this is what I believe they meant in that story, the Tower of Babel. Okay, because with words. Because there's a plethora of words. I may even use words that you don't know the definition to.
Yeah, you just did when you spoke in Spanish.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, we still determine this as a reality, quote unquote, based on our senses. Okay? But if you couldn't smell, if you couldn't taste, if you couldn't feel, if you couldn't hear, we call those disabilities, correct? So if there was a person that could not do any of the above, but they were living, would this be a reality for them?
Yes, it still would be a reality for them.
But it wouldn't be as you see it.
Exactly.
Because you have
different.
But wait a minute. But it's so wait a minute. So what's the difference? Because if you identify with this reality based on your senses, but I'm dealing with a person that has no senses, that has none of that, they're just a living being, then where is the reality?
Let me explain something to you. I'm going to teach you this one. Now, most people don't like it. We're teaching each other now, back and forth. When I'm listening, I'm learning, and you're speaking. Same thing. When you speak and listen, I'm teaching. We're going back and forth. So I'm about to teach you something a little bit more in depth because this one is something that I learned probably recently, and that's being an audio engineer and producer rather. What you're trying to describe is two totally different things. That's what I told you at the beginning of this. I'm talking about the instrument, the tool of language and words. And I taught you what that was. Because you asked in detail. I don't know if you knew it or not, but I told you in detail because I've, done this before. what words work. It could be utterances, it could be signs, it could be symbols, it could be facial expression. All of that. We can use as words. That's proven. We got languages based off of all those formats right now. People use those things to communicate and represent their ideas, their thoughts. You mentioned something dealing with our senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. So I'm gonna give you something. When what you're experiencing right now, what I'm experiencing right now, what you're utilizing right now, what I'm utilizing right now, is called. You're using sound. We're producing sound with our vocal cords and the air that we're breathing, and then we're also utilizing our hearing, our ability to hear, and then and then our brain is processing that and creating some sort of understanding from all those things, which is miraculous. It's incredible how this works, especially with humans. We ain't the only ones that copyright this thing. We ain't created this thing. This thing is just, it's nature. How the hell it happens, why it happens, hey, you got to beg it. Everyone is at the same standstill on that. We don't know. We don't know. No one knows. You can come up with an idea to try to explain why you think it is, but we don't know how this happens. It's amazing. But that's incredible. Love it. I don't question it. Hey, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm utilizing it. But those are two separate things. Sound that we're using and that we're creating with our vocal cords and air vibrations, the molecules in the air, how we're able to push this out and then transmit it, and also our hearing, our ability to hear, and then our brain's ability to take that in. You notice I ain't said nothing about what you think about that or what I think about that, because it has nothing to do with it. Those are two separate things. Your ability to hear is not the connection to your ideas, brother. That's a sense that you have. So the sound that's coming out of my mouth into yours it only means anything it's because we taught you to learn that sound and attribute a particular meaning to it. Same thing when you spoke, you use the same sound, you use the same sound, the same utterances in a different pitch and rhythm and sequence, and I didn't understand what you were saying. But yet when I use this particular sound, this particular sequence, this particular pitch, these punctuations, and you understand what I'm saying. That's the craziest thing. It's the same thing. We're utilizing the same means to produce this, but yet we don't understand what each other's saying based off of how they're sequenced and manipulated. Just that quick. That's those small intricacies. But I don't know if you're catching what I'm telling you. You're using the software, and you got offended when I told you this. It's something that's going to catch on the way home. Remember I tell you when you say things to me, sometimes I catch it on this shit you're going to catch on the way home, or you may not, because it depends on your belief system, because it's going to impact that. If you take what I'm saying, it's going to impact that, because that's what it is. The foundation of what we're doing is sound. We're using sound and the ability to hear to create these things. But what is manifested from the ability to do this is the thing that's not real. That's the illusion. The sound and the processing of the sound, and that whatever that composes in our head is the illusion, not your ability to hear the sound and not the sound itself.